Mr. Ferrell, it's an honor. My question is, are we ever going to get sequel to Elf or Night at the Roxbury?
I've got great news for you. No.
Ho, 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 and welcome to Cancelled Movie Report, the documentary podcast series that talks about the best Christmas movies that Hollywood never made. Think of me as Saint Nick delivering you this very special extra episode, and of course, I'm joined by just the jolliest man I could find, actor and comedian, Mr. Eden Porter.
Thank you very much. Call me Mr. Lump of Coal over here. Because I'm sure whatever you've got installed, it wasn't up to standard.
Are you going to be the Grinch of this episode?
I think so. I'm going to bring us back down to look. This is why I didn't get made.
And good! Yeah. Yes, we've got a very special episode all about a sequel to a beloved Christmas movie. Oh. This is the story of Elf 2. The Santa Claus and Home Alone are both family films set around Christmas that went on to become popular franchises. Hell, even Die Hard managed to get a series of films. So why does one of the beloved Christmas classics, Elf, not have any? It seems ripe for a series of films. Well, there was actually a sequel developed for many years, so let's take a look at it now. First question. Are you a fan of Elf?
Yeah, I think Elf for our generation, and men of a certain age.
It is our family Christmas film.
Yeah, I think it comes on sort of every year around that point and stuff like that. It's probably not as heartwarming for me as like a Home Alone, but it's probably got some more comedic chops to it. Yep. I think Elf is good. I think Will Ferrell in that really
it made him a movie star.
Yeah,
honestly.
Exactly. It really expands open that awareness of that film.
People often, I think, talk about Anchorman making him a movie star, but I think Elf being the huge box office hit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
because it was a huge box office hit, wasn't it?
It was a huge. My
ginormous.
first note says huge box office hit.
Yeah, well, if it's in the notes, it must be true, Campbell.
So from a budget of $33 million. It made 225. So it's not even like 225 is like astronomical money, but the return on that investment is huge.
Yeah. Which to me that screams sequel.
Yeah.
Like if you've made even if you lost half that box office in a bad sequel, if you could still make it for 30 million. And
sequels don't often lose box office, to be frank.
Yeah.
Even if they're bad, the Hangover movies continually made more money.
Yeah, that's no
so it came, obviously, with that kind of return on investment, sequel talk was almost immediate. And from the very jump, Will Ferrell was apprehensive about returning to the role. But a script was commissioned to try and change his mind on the film.
Okay.
So this script that we have here for Elf 2 was written by Scott Armstrong and is dated 2005.
Okay.
So Elf was 2003.
Yes,
this is 2 years later.
Yeah. Because does Will Ferrell do sequels?
He
obviously he eventually did Anchorman 2.
Yes, he's done
after a long time.
Few. Zoolander 2 as well.
But that feels like more getting a corpse, reanimating a corpse of a long dead property to try.
It seems like he does occasionally, but it's pretty rare.
Pretty
rare. This was written by Scott Armstrong. He had written Road Trip, Old School, and The Hangover Part 2. So he's a comedy writer, like a jobbing comedy writer. Yeah. The original Elf script was actually written by David Birnbaum, but it actually went through uncredited rewrites by Scott Armstrong. So he had rewritten, uncredited the original Elf as well.
Gotcha.
He knew the material.
So he knows the character. He knows how the character would speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes this film is referred to as Elf 2 Buddy Saves Christmas, but the screenplay title page just says Elf 2.
Okay.
So I don't know where the Buddy Saves Christmas.
I think that is just a testament of like 90s, early 2000s, all films needing that little tagline at the end.
And I think that could be the tagline to any Elf film.
Yeah.
Buddy
that's true.
Christmas.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah.
And here's something. Will Ferrell was apparently offered $29 million to return. So just think about that. The budget of the first film was 33.
Oh my God.
He was almost offered the budget of the first
film to return.
So here's the thing. This is just a bonus episode. We are going to break down the script. We have a couple of scenes for them, but it's not a full report because this script, honestly, there's not like a whole heap to it.
Yeah.
Here's what we know is Will Ferrell, obviously, this is written to try and get him to return as Buddy the Elf.
So this is just buttering him up.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Do
convinced.
you know how many hot girlfriends Buddy's going to have in this one?
Well, Zoe Deschanel
Oh, really?
returning as Jovie, presumably.
Yeah,
because
good.
Jovie is in the script.
Yeah.
And of course, Bob Newhart as Papa Elf, the narrator of the
narrators,
films. He would have returned as well. I think we're about to get into the plot of Elf 2, but I think it's worth catching up exactly just how Elf ended, because it does kind of immediately lead into Elf 2.
Okay.
So I have a couple of notes, but do you remember how it ends? Because when I started reading the script, I had to go back and watch Elf and go, oh, no, okay, that does end that way. Okay.
The Santa's sleigh breaks in
Yeah,
Central
I'm
Park?
talking about like the very, very end. It does a bit of a wrap-up of characters and where they are.
Oh, and it does the freeze frame with the text? Does
yeah,
it do that?
Yeah, it does more of like a musical montage.
Okay. So I have no memory.
That's okay. I can tell you, it actually ends with Buddy writing a book about his life. And that becomes a bestseller.
It's bestseller, yeah, that's
which
right.
his dad
Yeah,
publishes.
yeah.
And Buddy also marries Jovie, and it ends with them having a newborn baby called Susie, and they're showing Susie to Papa Elf, and that's how it ends. They're sitting with Papa Elf in the thing. So, with all that in mind, do you want to hear a brief summary about the plot of Elf 2?
Yeah, I do, Campbell.
The film starts with a scene of Buddy at the dentist. He sits in the waiting room and he's eyeing off a box of toys. He obviously wants to play with them, but he's trying to be adult. He's taken to the dentist's office and he's given some gas to help with the pain for his dental surgery. And the doctor explains to him that the side effects are normally just happiness. But of course, Buddy, being as happy as he is, it's a dangerous mix. And soon Buddy's up and he's bounding around, full of beans, causing chaos in the office. It's a bit of a elaborate comedy scene where Will Ferrell's going crazy
and stuff. Yeah.
And it ends with him like running out of the small dentist room, but he's still attached by his gas mask and he's yanked backwards in the machine and he collapses. And that's like a bit of a cold open comedy scene that they start with.
That's comedy.
That's comedy.
That's comedy. Okay.
And there's plenty of comedy coming up.
Okay, good. Serve it up.
It's from here that we hear the familiar sound of Papa Elf as he catches us up on what Buddy, his new wife Jovie, and their daughter Susie have been up to.
So, ready for another story, are you? Well, let's get you up to speed on Buddy the Elf, or Buddy the Human, whichever way you want to look at it. Acclaimed author, family man, lover of Christmas, Buddy had done well in New York City. Christmas after Christmas, Buddy would always release a new bestseller.
Tell us, where are you going to spend Christmas this year, Buddy?
Oh, well, we always walk up to the North Pole for Christmas.
You see, most people never believed that Buddy was really raised as an elf. To the public, Buddy was just an eccentric children's author with an overactive imagination. He kept wearing his elf suit, by the way. Nothing else gives more comfort and breathability than the cloth of the family. It didn't hurt his book sales either. His publicist called it, positive branding. And New York was already so full of different characters, most people never thought twice about the way Buddy dressed.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Buddy kept tinkering with the family bobsled each year. Of course, there were people that knew the truth, that Buddy was actually raised at the North Pole. There was Buddy's wife, Jovie.
Are you sure about this?
And there was also Buddy's biggest fan in the whole wide world, Susie. She's the one jumping in the sled. She was growing up all right.
All right, let's do it.
Buddy was an official card-carrying Papa Elf himself.
Oh, we're okay to go. Ready? On 11.
How about on 3?
Oh, either way. Ready? 1, 2, 3!
As hard as Buddy tried, a city apartment is no place for a full-sized bobsled track. He would always put up walls of padding to catch Susie, but it didn't always go according to plan.
My fault. That was me. I'm a noodle noggin.
New York was their favorite city, but there was one thing Buddy and his family were missing. A backyard.
Why?
Sorry, buddy. We had to tear your treehouse down again. Rules are rules.
And so, Buddy, Jovie, and Susie set their sights on a whole new world. The suburbs. Jovie would work at the high school as a music teacher, and Buddy would be a stay-at-home dad that writes from home.
Never in a million years did I think I'd ever do this.
I wonder what Christmas is like out here.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
There it is. I think we've set up the basic premise of Elf 2.
Yeah.
Buddy.
It should be called Elf 2 Buddy in the Suburbs.
Buddy in the Suburbs.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it's taken it out of New York City, and this story is about Buddy trying to adjust to life in the suburbs.
Yeah, okay. And by the way, can I just say, the greatest Christmas treat of all is that Will Ferrell voice. How good is that?
Yeah, that's
amazing.
that's Ryan Goldsher voicing Buddy the Elf for us.
Amazing.
And
Nailing
Paige
it.
Galdieri does an amazing Zoe
As
Deschanel
well.
voice as well.
I know, so good.
I love when I can find a voice that I didn't think would be able to match.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
And just like, oh yeah, that's exactly what Will Ferrell sounds like.
Yeah. So thrilled with those. Anyway, we now cut to the family's new suburban life, and Buddy walks Susie to school and he drops her off. And he gives her a special Etch-a-Sketch, which lets them to communicate with each other. It's kind of like text messages, but it's through an Etch-a-Sketch. But he's clearly a little bit anxious about separating from her. So that means it's been like a few years between.
Yeah, well,
because she was
Susie's
newborn,
like a newborn, and now she's like a
school age
kid.
So she attends school as Buddy. He wanders the streets and he's a little lost. And we actually see a montage set to David Bowie's Space Oddity, where he feels a little out of place in the suburbs. So I think this shows the budget was probably a little bit up.
Suddenly they're
paying the big
bucks.
So there's a montage. There's a couple of highlights. He a bunch of speedwalkers. They kind of push past him as they're going down the street. He's walking by himself down a huge 6-lane suburban highway. He's trying to walk through a drive-through fast food restaurant. Everyone's beeping at him. They're saying, "We can't serve you. You got to have a car."
Yeah.
And eventually he ends him at a giant shopping mall. And here he comes face to face with a giant candy emporium. And his eyes widen. It's like a paradise for him. And he goes in there and he makes friends with a young employee, like a kind of a burnout kid named Falcon. So
Falcon?
Falcon, yeah. And so he becomes friends with Falcon. In school, Susie actually learns about all the different Santas around the world and the different customs that each country has. But Susie, she objects, telling the teacher there's only one Santa. And she also manages to make 2 new friends that day, 2 sisters named Jess and Jamie. As Buddy picks Susie up, we briefly meet Jess and Jamie's dad, Phil Spicer. I refer to in the script as Mr. Spicer, and he is a cool dad.
Oh, okay.
And he's pretty amused by Buddy. He's kind of looks down his nose at him a bit, and he finds him quite amusing.
Okay. No casting?
No casting. I strongly get the vibe of a...
Phil Hartman.
No, like Will Arnett.
Oh, yeah, Will Arnett.
Yeah,
well, Phil Hartman was the original Will Arnett, pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. So, yes, Mr. Spicer. That's a character that will return.
Yeah.
We now see Buddy and Susie. They've made the most of their new backyard, and it's a winter wonderland of fun in there. They have a whole setup, including a full-size ski jump. And it seems things are going perfectly, finally. Except Susie's beginning to get a little self-conscious around her new friends about her dad. And especially the way that her dad looks compared to someone cool like Mr. Spicer. And by cool, I mean like he's like a corporate guy. He wears a suit.
Okay.
She normally walks to school with her dad, but lately she wants to walk alone.
Yeah, that classic.
So Buddy's a bit confused by this, and he wanders to his new favorite place, the Candy Emporium, to try and cheer himself up.
Now I'm in aisle 7. Send.
Hey, is it not the Elfmeister? What's up, bro?
Not much, bro.
Check out this t-shirt I totally made. Oh yeah, let's see. You got a babe here in a bikini just wailing on a dragon with her sword. Bro, is this not the coolest girl you've ever seen in your life?
Oh, that is so pretty. What's her name?
Brandy.
Hey, there's a girl who works next door named Brandy.
Duh, what are the chances of that happening? Hey, we got some fresh gumdrops in. I put some aside for you.
Thanks, Falcon. I'll take 9 pounds of those.
Right on.
And let's see, give me 16 pounds of these snow caps, 37 pounds of these gummy worms here, and grab me 217 pixie sticks.
It's all you, brother.
Do these malt balls come in green?
I wish.
Hey, Falcon. Can I ask you a question?
Lay it out.
You grew up here, right?
Don't rub it in.
How old were you when you stopped wanting to hang out with your dad all the time?
I don't know, dude. Probably like 1?
Oh. 1, huh?
Hey, Falcon, have you seen St. Clair anywhere?
Hold on. Let me check my schedule. Nope, not my turn to babysitter.
Well, she's driving me crazy. This is the 3rd time she hasn't shown up. I got a room full of Santas and no trainer.
Oh, I can train mall Santas. I used to train mall Santas in New York all the time. I'm super good at it. Clip that beard. I want 9.5 inches from the chin. That left dimple is pretty small. Smile harder. Scrub that makeup off. Santa does not wear eyeliner. Santa weighs 263.5 this year. You're gonna need more pillows. Looking good. Nice work. All right, now let's try some role playing. Lenny, you're first.
So are you just gonna get onto my... Oh, yep, okay, yep, you are heavier than you look.
Merry Christmas. I've been good. I'd like a choo-choo train. Now you talk.
Okay, Oh, a choo-choo. Let's see, I could probably build a choo-choo.
Okay, now stop. You're already wrong. Santa doesn't build the toys, Lenny. Ming Ming oversees all factory design and production line construction. Let's take it from the top, and this time, let's try not to sound totally fake. Come on, mall Santas. Let's focus. These kids need us.
So there you go. There's Buddy training the mall Santas.
This is like comedy premise, number 2.
Yeah,
It's
and
like...
you'll be glad to know that plot is immediately dropped.
Oh, really?
Never comes back.
So it's just like, what's a funny scene?
Yeah, and you can really imagine him doing the boot camp style training.
Boot camp, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket
Of
style.
course, you gotta love Falcon.
Yeah, mate, Falcon. he's got the babes that he likes.
Yeah,
Brandy.
yeah, Brandy. That plot also dropped.
Are you kidding?
Brandy never comes back.
In my head, this is what I'm currently thinking the film is. It's about what Buddy does to get Brandy and Falcon together.
Oh, right.
At the same time, he's trying to deal with like rogues, like mall Santas.
Yeah,
and so you're saying that has no...
No.
Okay, keep going.
Well,
I'll be interested when the plot starts.
Yeah, it doesn't start for a while. After this, Buddy picks up his daughter again, and we see that she actually wants to hang out with her new friends more than him. During career day at school, the dads all talk about their jobs. Of course, Mr. Spicer, he tells them all about the oil company that he works for.
Wow.
He explains about drilling in the South Pole and how it takes him 2 planes just to get there. He even gives all the kids hard hats. He's an absolute smash at Dad's Day, at the career day. Buddy is up next, and he reads one of his stories because he's continually writing Christmas books now. And he explains that he visits the North Pole, but he just walks up there every year with his family. But he tells them about KRINGLE. He's a troublemaker who destroys or tries to destroy Christmas and the lives of the people at the North Pole every single year. His tale does not go over well, and the kids and Mr. Spicer, they all heckle him and make fun of him and laugh at him. And Susie, she kind of slinks down in her seat a bit embarrassed and horrified.
Yeah. Interesting that I would have thought the dad that was a policeman or a fireman would be a lot more fun than the mine executive.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what's the shortest way to make him a dick?
Yeah,
exactly. Make him an oil executive.
But also talking him up as like this cool dad, and he goes over a treat.
Well, he's meant to be a bit of an antagonist.
Yeah, okay.
Buddy, he talks to Jovie now, and he tells her that he doesn't want to embarrass Susie anymore, and he's made a choice. He is going to be normal. Oh. He's not going to be an elf anymore. And of course, we now cut to a montage of Buddy being normal.
In a suit?
Well, here are the things what are normal things you think Buddy might do?
Okay, I think he might, so he'll get like a proper grown-up suit.
First thing he does is he hangs up the elf costume.
Yeah. Something to do with driving a car or something?
Well, the first thing he does is actually he goes and shops at Old Navy and the Gap.
Yeah, to get new clothes.
Yes.
Yeah.
He also sits on a park bench and he's pretending to read a newspaper. He goes to Hooters and he cheers loudly at the football game. And he goes to Starbucks and we see him, he's buying up all of the weird jazz CDs that are at the counter of Starbucks. So he's got his arms full of like weird jazz CDs.
That's so weird.
So we now cut to normal Buddy. And he's dressed in daggy normal clothes. It actually says in the script, he's got a Foot Locker hat. He's got a Hilfiger sweatshirt. He's got acid watch shorts. And he's got penny loafers. And of course, he's talking to his best friend, Falcon.
So, Brian?
Yep, Brian Hobbs. That's my new name. Sounds pretty regular, doesn't it?
Brian.
I'll tell you, being normal isn't easy. I don't know how you do it.
I just roll with the flow, yo. Check it out. I made this giant gummy worm ball. Ha!
Thanks, but no thanks, Falcon.
Your loss, my lunch.
No sweets for this guy. I'm on the wagon.
You sure? You look like you want it.
Candy, no eating. Me, do not do.
Well, you alright?
Yeah, sorry. Can I ask you a question?
Bring it.
Do you think women are more emotionally complex than men?
Honestly, I think most women are stronger than men because, like, they aren't as afraid to get emotional, you know? Men, they hold their feelings in and they act all proud, but really deep down, they're afraid. Suppressing emotions. That's what all guys are all about, man.
Note to self. Hold feelings in.
Yep. Fear makes the world go round, yo.
Does your dad hold his feelings in?
Why don't you shut up, okay, Brian? My dad's busy. He doesn't have time to talk all the time, right?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Do you need a tissue?
I said shut up.
Well, can I ask one more thing?
Fine.
What kind of things do normal dads do out here? I need ideas for some normal stuff.
Well, if you want to be a total man dork, you could always join the Wheaton Country Club. That place is classic, way full of clones.
What do you think we do now?
Yeah, well, here we go. Country club comedy set piece number 3.
Exactly. I do enjoy the ongoing joke that Falcon and his dad just have a terrible relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he didn't want to hang out with them from 1. He's too busy to hang out with him, so just cut him some slack, you know.
The country clubs.
The country club,
It's such an American, ism of stuffy old people playing golf, all this sort of stuff.
So far, as a premise, as a sequel to Elf, I don't mind the idea of moving it to the suburbs. And now, the original was a fish out of water. He's an elf in a normal world. And now it's kind of reversed it, and he's trying to be normal.
Yeah.
I think there's something there.
Well, the situations they've got him in so far is you can imagine them sort of getting crazier and crazier and building them out further and further.
So, of course, we cut to a montage.
Yeah.
This movie is
it's still montage central.
Montage city.
Okay.
As, to be fair, the first one is pretty heavily on montage. So he's at a fancy country club. He's trying to fit in. And he bumps into Mr. Spicer down in the country club, who invites Buddy to play cards, thinking he's got a sucker here. But, of course, what does it turn out?
Buddy's really good at cards.
Buddy's really good at cards. And why do you think?
Because he used to play it.
No, because no one can read it. He's too happy all the time, so no one can read his tells.
Yeah.
And he starts winning all the games, much to the annoyance of all the other men in the club. And it's here that he learns about sarcasm, because people are like, oh, thanks a lot, buddy. They're being quite mean to him. So he learns about the concept of sarcasm.
Is that going to be a punchline later on?
It is, yeah. I wouldn't have mentioned it so specifically otherwise.
Very much point that out.
Jovie and Buddy, they make their way to a dinner party now. It's hosted by neighborhood friends, the Gunthers. And knowing that the Spicers will also be there, Buddy is keen to show how normal he can be. Jovie is dressed in a reindeer costume, and Buddy, he's wearing his old elf costume again.
I can't believe you're complaining about this. A Christmas costume party should be your favorite thing in the whole world.
I just feel like an idiot in this thing. It itches.
How can it itch? You've worn it your whole life.
Well, maybe my skin can only touch normal clothes from now on.
Honestly, Buddy,
Call me Brian.
You're not Brian.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I still like snow.
There they are.
There, standing in the doorway, was Mrs. Gunther in her, sexiest Santa outfit.
Ho, ho, Oh.
One that left Buddy feeling a little disturbed, especially when she winked like that.
Buddy.
Oh, what is she supposed to be?
Trash.
Inside the party now.
How about that? We have a famous writer at our little party.
She loves your books.
Thanks. It's pretty easy. They're mostly stories from growing up.
Isn't he precious?
Ooh, yummy. His tastes like an egg.
They are eggs.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I love eggs. Oh, great job, Barbara.
Tell me, Phil, what's the hot toy on your girls' list this year? They're always way ahead of the curve.
Well, this year we decided to go with gift certificates.
Gift certificates?
Yep, gift certificates are easier to carry than real presents.
Yeah, that's a good point, Phil.
We always travel down to our timeshare in Florida for Christmas, so they're easy to pack.
What are you guys buying Susie?
We're actually not buying anything. I'm making her a luge. Buddy's teaching me how.
Oh, it's a really normal luge, though.
What's a luge?
A luge is like a one-man bobsled, right?
Yep. Now that we have the space for a bobsled track, Buddy's going to put in an extra long one.
And I'm not building her a new piano. And it's not going to be red and green with red and green keys, and the bench is not going to be red and green at all.
Let me guess, buddy. Sarcasm?
Yes, sarcasm. I am building her a piano. He got it.
And there it is.
There it is. Ba-dum-ching. Love it. Good build-up. Great build-up.
I can really picture Will Ferrell doing that long, extended chewing scene
of the
egg. Like making the faces.
Oh, I love egg.
Yeah. Of course, what do you think this results in him going to a dinner party?
Like he's at a dinner party. So obviously the wife's hitting on him?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it results in. A montage.
Oh, okay. I thought there was more plot there. No.
No, so they're doing classic dinner party things. So a game of charades.
Yep.
But of course, Buddy, he's only guessing Christmas-themed things every single round. He tries to join them in a hot tub at one point, but as he tries to lower into the hot water, he's just screaming in agony and pain because he's so used to the cold. So he's trying to pretend. Again, you can picture Will Ferrell.
I can putting dipping a toe in and being like, it's fine.
Of course, Phil, who they kept mentioning, is Phil Spicer.
Yeah,
Mr. Spicer.
Mr. Spicer.
All the while, Mr. Spicer, he's making kind of snide comments and people are laughing at the party. Susie, she's now hanging out more and more with her new friends. And she actually doesn't carry her Etch-a-Sketch anymore, which means her dad can't communicate with her.
Because when you see, Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
You can't communicate with Etch-a-Sketches.
This is a magical one.
This is a magical one.
Magical one, yeah.
And so you dial it and it, okay. So it is magical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I don't know why they just didn't give them phones.
I
guess
know.
they're trying to make it
more magical
whimsical and Christmassy. So Jovie tells Buddy that his publicist has called to make sure that he's going to do his annual TV appearance this year. Buddy lights up. Maybe going on TV will prove to Susie that he is a cool dad too.
But he's going to try and do it as normal Brian?
No, he's going to read his newest Christmas story live on TV. During the night, Buddy, he's working hard on his new book. And as Papa Elf is kind of narrating all of this, we actually get a little distraction with Papa Elf because there's a knock at his door. And all of a sudden, something bursts in and they put a burlap sack over Papa Elf.
What?
Yeah. Now this is where the plot starts to kick in.
Are you... Oh my God. Okay, so now we're saving Christmas.
So Papa Elf has just been kidnapped. Mid-narration.
Okay.
So during...
Is he retrospectively narrating?
I know.
Buddy's
This
life?
means that he is narrating in real time.
Oh, okay.
I guess.
That's interesting.
That's the implication of this, is that halfway through the story, during the narration, he gets kidnapped. And then that affects the plot.
Okay.
So Buddy actually goes on TV now while Jovie and Susie, they're watching from the side of the set. And all the kids from Susie's school, they're also watching it in their own homes. It's, there's classic montage of people watching TV.
Yeah.
Buddy presents his new book. It's called It's a Susie Christmas, Pictures of Susie are all over the front cover, and of course, Susie's horrified by this. The other kids from school, they're all laughing at the TV, and Susie runs off upset. She tells her dad that Mr. Spicer has actually offered to take her to Florida for Christmas with their family, and she runs off away from her dad. Jovie assures him that Susie will come to the North Pole with them, even if she has to drag her there herself. Buddy walks around sadly through his house, looking a bit full-on, when suddenly he hears a voice call out.
Psst. Buddy, over here.
It's Leon the Snowman. He's the stop-motion animated snowman from the first Elf film.
Leon, is that you?
It's me, all right. Oh, buddy, it's so good to see you.
We now cut to Buddy, Jovie, and Leon. They're sitting in the backyard.
After that, I dissolved into a cumulus cloud and used the wind currents to guide me through the sky until I reached your town.
Wow, really?
Yep. Once I looked down and saw your house, I snowflaked myself down into your yard, rolled myself up, and here I am.
That sounds kind of complicated.
Hey, when Santa sends you on a mission, you do what it takes.
A mission?
Are you gonna help us with Susie?
Listen, we've got an emergency up north. The South Pole elves have really hit us where it hurts this year. Santa has sent for you, buddy. We need your help.
I can't do it.
Santa needs you now, buddy.
My place is here now. My daughter needs me to be normal. I'm no longer an elf.
You don't mean that.
Buddy, let's hear Leon out.
No, I'm not Buddy. My name is Brian Hobbs.
But there's one thing that Leon hadn't told Buddy, or Brian, yet. As you know, I had, been kidnapped. Buddy was upset to hear this, of course, but to be perfectly honest, I wasn't too crazy about the situation myself. Huh? Oh, sure. If you'll excuse me, it's time for me to be interrogated.
Make things easy on yourself, or it could be a long day for you. Give your magic to me now, or be tortured till you do.
Papa Elf?
I'm sorry, buddy.
What is this?
It's an airline ticket.
You can't fly to the North Pole, Leon. You have to walk.
You're not going to the North Pole, buddy.
Where am I going?
Switzerland.
So this is now, we're about to kick into the third act of the film.
Okay.
Coming to the end. And this is the only real plot, I guess.
Yeah. It's weird. We're going some real meta narrating while being kidnapped.
Interrogated, yeah.
It's happening at the same time as, it's getting quite meta.
Yeah. So Buddy's now off to Switzerland.
Okay.
He leaves
I was going to say South Pole, but...
Yeah, well, he's going to Switzerland to try and get to the South Pole.
Okay.
He leaves a note for Susie saying sorry that she was embarrassed, but he needs to go and save Christmas. Because, of course, Buddy saves Christmas. Susie and Jovie make their yearly trek up to the North Pole in elf costumes without Buddy. Susie clearly not happy about not being able to go to Florida. Buddy is led to a secret room in Switzerland where he meets Santa. And Santa tells him the truth. He isn't the only Santa. See, there are many Santas all over the world that work together. And he leads Buddy into a room with a big round table full of Santas. This is called the Summit of Santas. And we see every nation's different version of Santa in there. We meet all different versions of St. Nick, and one is actually even called out to be played by Vince Vaughn.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Weirdly, the Netherlands Santa, it says in the brackets, Vince Vaughn. They discuss that without Papa Elf, Christmas in America will be lost. They tell Buddy that he must go to the South Pole and get Papa Elf back because, as it turns out, in a stroke of luck, the South Pole elves are different. They're all around 6'3" and they all have curly hair.
What?
So obviously it's played as like a dumb joke. It's like, oh yeah, those elves look exactly like you.
Okay, yeah.
So Buddy, of course, he'll fit right in. So how are they going to get Buddy up there? They took Santa's sleigh when they took Papa Elf, but Buddy has an idea. We cut to Mr. Spicer in his timeshare down in Florida, and Buddy's pleading for his help. At first, Mr. Spicer is not convinced until Leon the Snowman and several other stop-motion animated Christmas characters all turn up backing up Buddy's story and freaking Mr. Spicer out. Because, of course, Mr. Spicer, he has these 2 planes that he takes, remember?
Oh, yeah,
Down to the South Pole.
that's true. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all coming together,
It's all coming together now. And personally, I don't mind the joke that South Pole elves all are 6'3" with curly hair.
Exactly like
I love a weird joke of convenience.
Yeah.
So Spicer and Buddy, they're flying now. They arrive at the mining station and Buddy sets off to the South Pole from there. All the South Pole elves look scarily similar to Buddy. so he manages to slip in unnoticed. But he sees the leader of the South Pole, KRINGLE, and he realizes that they're going to stop Christmas at this point. They've got Papa Elf, they've got the sleigh.
They're going to ruin it, yeah.
Buddy is soon busted as an imposter, and he's chained up next to Papa Elf in the dungeon. But as they're going to chain him up, Buddy sneezes and he gets some black soot into his eye. And as he stumbles, we get, and this is written in the script, the most preposterously long series of pratfalls ever on film.
Ever on film. I love it when they say something like that in the script.
Because it's clearly they're just handballing the work.
They're just going, someone else
come
can
up with
come
the best thing that's ever happened.
Yeah. Remember in Indiana Jones where they had one of the most near-miss car chases ever put on film?
Yeah, I got big vibes of that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this series of events is so funny and amazing that once it's all over, all the mean South Pole elves, they're just staring as Buddy starts to laugh. And then Papa Elf starts to laugh. And slowly, all of the South Pole elves, they start to laugh too. KRINGLE is furious and tells them to stop laughing, but it's too late. Laughter rings out into the night, and somehow this means that KRINGLE is defeated by the joy of Christmas.
What? It's not by the joy of Christmas. It's by the joy of pratfalls.
It's by the, and I quote, preposterously long series of pratfalls.
Yeah. Everyone loves a pratfall.
So Buddy now flies home with Papa Elf in the sleigh, and they arrive at the North Pole to meet JOVIE, Susie, and the rest of the gang. Susie actually now sees how much everyone loves Buddy at the South Pole, and he saves Christmas, he saves the day, and he's quite a hero, and she's proud of her dad. But of course, Papa Elf tells him it's too late. He can't possibly finish all the presents and shrink them down to deliver them in time. Now, it's already Christmas morning. But not to fear, because as the film ends, it ends with a montage of all the Santas in the world delivering toys to the children of America. They've all pulled together to help out. And the film ends with a montage of American children opening bizarre presents from around the world. And the last shot of the movie is a little girl sitting under her Christmas tree trying to play the sitar. The end. That is the plot of Elf 2, Eden.
Buddy Saves Christmas.
What do you think?
Look, it's got some good comedy bones.
Yeah, I think there's legitimately something in this.
I think it just falls off a cliff at the end.
Yeah, just weird pivot to a different plot at the end.
Totally different film.
I think you could make a movie about Buddy moving to the suburbs, trying to become a normal dad for his daughter, without the kidnapping plot.
I'm feeling like, let's scale it back to like, and I've been getting the vibes the whole way through, the Jingle All the Way, sort of, again, the neighbor that's like just into as Christmas as him and him feeling threatened and having to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just becomes a hugely different film. And then I think they just ran out of gas in terms of, okay, we've got this bad guy. How do we defeat him? Oh, we do a whole bunch of falls and everyone laughs.
And that defeats it because there's too much Christmas cheer after that.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Kevin. But I'd like, all the montages, maybe tease the montages out to be
to be fair,
scenes.
I've condensed this quite a bit to get into a single episode.
Yeah, okay.
They're a little bit more spaced out in the film, but I think there's something there. But of course, what happened?
Yeah, why did it never get made?
Well, someone that shed a little bit of light on this is actually James Caan. Star of the original Elf.
The dad,
Weirdly not in this script.
I was going to say, because he's such a huge part of the first one.
Yeah. So Walter Hobbs, who Brian takes his name from, Brian Hobbs in the script, not in the script. But he was asked about Elf 2 on Cleveland's 92.3, The Fans, Bull and Fox, back in 2020. And this is what he said.
Hey, James. Last thing for me. One of my all-time favorite movies that you were in, of course, was Elf, and it's like one of those movies that around the holidays you have to watch. Fantastic movie with Will Ferrell, of course, and yourself. Will there be an Elf 2?
Well, there was. We were going to do it, and I thought, oh my God, I finally got a franchise movie. I could make some money and let my kids do what the hell they want to do, and. The director and Will didn't get along very well. So Will wanted to do it, and the guy wouldn't. He didn't want that the director, and he had it in his contract. It was one of those things.
Oh, wow.
So apparently Jon Favreau, director of the original Elf, and Will Ferrell didn't get along during the making of Elf.
Really?
Yeah.
So they had a falling out?
Yeah. Apparently it was quite a tense set the whole time. But so he claims that Will Ferrell wanted to do it.
Do it, yeah.
But he didn't want Jon Favreau, but Jon Favreau had it in his contract. It was one of those things.
Yeah, it's one of those like right of refusal, like you get the option.
But interviews with Will Ferrell actually paint a different picture, which is that Will never wanted to do a sequel, and he turned down the offer of $29 million and this script. So Will was actually asked about this as well, and here's what he said about it.
Are there any of your older movies that you think should have had a sequel that didn't get one?
You know, you've been asked to do Elf a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
See?
Right. It's too good. And
But see, that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't think either of us are on that side of ever wanting to rush into a sequel of things that we really care about. You know, I think it's, you know, it's obviously, if you can figure that out and come up with a story that justifies having an extension of the first one, then great. But yeah, I've been asked and begged and prodded to do a sequel of that movie, and I'm with you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. And he's actually been quoted as saying that he thought it would be an unreasonable rehash of the first film to do the second. I don't think that's necessarily true, given the script. I think it's different enough.
The script didn't. That script didn't feel like a rehash.
Yeah, I
like
don't
a
think
soft
so.
reboot or anything
I mean,
like that.
the basic premise, I guess, is the same. Buddy's a fish out of water because he loves Christmas. But I think it changed enough.
But I think what's interesting is they changed the family dynamic from father-son to father-daughter.
Yes.
And he's now the dad.
Yes.
And I think that's a nice...
Yeah, it's an
enough
interesting
change.
development,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So he was also asked in another interview, of course, this is something we pull clips from all the time, is, as it turns out, Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. He asked him about this, and this is what Will said. I think it would look slightly pathetic if I tried to squeeze back into an elf tights. It would be Buddy the middle-aged elf. I would have to then promote the film from an honest place, which would have been like, oh, it's not good. I just couldn't turn down that much money. And I thought, can I actually say those words? I don't think I can, so I guess I can't do the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
That Christmas cheer,
Imagine
really,
being Scott Armstrong being like, oh, come on, man. I tried.
It's
I
like,
really
come on,
tried.
man. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Oh, this film's terrible. I just wanted more money.
I think there's no bigger critic of this film than Will Ferrell.
Sounds like it.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's not a train wreck.
No.
Like we've reported on a lot worse films than this.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, of course, the question we always ask, do you think this would have been any good?
I think if that's like a first draft,
it is
of a bit of script. I think you could polish that up, change maybe the back end a little bit. Doesn't have to be. Although I do like the idea of all the kids opening presents from around the world.
Fun. Like, I love the idea of the Summit of Santa.
So, it's
a great idea. I think. And of course, when you see Vince Vaughn in there.
Yeah, well, exactly. Everyone loves Vince Vaughn specifically. Imagine that though. Imagine if every Santa from around the world is like a comedian.
Oh, that would be fun.
That thing, yeah, that would be quite a good
It's kind of like in the Anchorman movies when they have the gang fights.
And everyone
there's all
rocks
the
up.
cameos.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's what I was thinking.
The Summit of Santa could be that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you enjoyed this movie, we've got an extra special Christmas treat for anyone that subscribes to our Patreon. We've actually put together a casting call episode about the casting of Buddy the Elf, because there was another huge comedy star that was offered the role of Buddy first. And if you want to hear what that might have sounded like, come join us over on Patreon. But if you are curious, here's a small clip.
Mr. Hobbs, it's me on the intercom.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think someone sent you a Christmas gram.
Dad?
All right, let's get it over with.
I walked all day and night to find you.
You look like you came from the North Pole.
That's exactly where I came from. Santa must have called you.
Oh, yeah, sure. He just got off the cell phone with me.
Well, there you go. I think that, you know what?
That's enough there.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed this episode all about Elf 2, and we would love it if you could subscribe, be it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. That really helps us get discovered in the charts. It would also be terrific if you could leave us a 5-star rating, or most importantly of all, tell a friend. Give them this episode as a Christmas gift. Can you think of anything better, Eden?
No.
No, I can't. Unfortunately, there's absolutely no way to support us on this show, and there's no way to get any bonus material, and I'll be damned if you can correct me on that, Eden.
Well, I might stop you there.
Okay, go on.
As part of Christmas cheer, we've got a little thing called Patreon.
Oh,
Yes,
interesting.
yes.
And we don't give anything bonus on Patreon.
I bloody well think we do.
Oh my god!
Think of it. You know the little stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
You know that little bit extra that just makes it a bit fun. Yeah.
Oh, is that our podcast casting call?
Correct.
Of which we have an ALF casting call.
Oh snap!
Yes, we talked about it earlier. We've got our whole casting call all about the movie ALF on there. What did you think of the movie, and did we miss anything? We'd love to hear from you. You can always get in touch with us via cancelledmovies@gmail.com or @cancelledmovies on all the socials. And maybe there's a cancelled movie project you've always wanted to hear about, or you can always let us know by filling in the form in the episode description, and of course alerting us to the project's existence. We need to give a huge shout out to our cast of this one.
Huge shout.
Buddy the Elf was played by Ryan Goldsher. Jovie was Paige Galdieri. Papa Elf was Tim Harrod. Falcon was Ben Wagner. Mr. Spicer and the manager of the store were both Jay Zadeh. Leon was Caleb Anderton. Leon the Snowman, that is. Mrs. Gunther and the reporter were both played by Dani Siller. Mr. Gunther was Michael Hahn. Cole KRINGLE was myself. And of course, the officer cutting down the Christmas tree and Lenny the Santa were Bill Sunderland. Thank you all so much for lending your voices to us. It's been absolutely amazing. That's it for the year for us, but we'll be back next year with season 4. But until then, obviously, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Campbell.
Merry Christmas to you, Eden. And Merry Christmas to the listener.